For Christmas this year, I made a Cloud Strife wolf head emblem for someone, and I thought I'd show you how I did it. I used chasing and repousse techniques. Normally you'd probably use a casting technique to make this head, but I used the materials I had at hand. I started off sinking a piece of mild steel into my pitch bowl, which you can see is half a bowling ball. Pitch is a horrible mix of pine tar and plaster and other exciting stuff. You can also see it's sitting on a base that's just a rubber wheel with the hub pounded out. Ideally, this would be a solid base that doesn't move around, and you can see it sort of walks around as I work, but I have a shared workspace that I can't permanently mount things in. At this point, I'm using a 16-ounce ball peen hammer and a set of ball punches to work the pattern into the back. And I'm about to flip the piece over and start working in the front with a set of smaller punches. The process of repousse is you do the broad strokes first, moving the material a lot, and then making finer and finer passes as you go with smaller and smaller tools and lighter hammers. Most jewelry work starts with a light hammer and finishes with a light hammer. If you're doing something like this with steel that you want a fair amount of depth with, you end up having to spend a fair amount of time just dishing out the depth of the piece and then coming in later and putting in the detail with fine tools. You may notice every now and then that the pitch mysteriously liquefies, and that's because I am holding the heat gun off screen that's melting the pitch. I have to do this every now and then so I can get the piece sunk in and really held well by the pitch. That's the whole purpose of the pitch, is to provide a backing material so I don't punch through. So occasionally the piece will come loose or the pitch will start to get too cold and crack and shatter. So there's sort of a balancing act that goes on through the whole process. The last thing I'm doing here is just chasing in the final details using effectively a blunted blade screwdriver bit, and that just crisps up the lines and sharpens the details.